The only reason sex work isn't getting legalized is because then it's going to get reported on your taxes. And if sex work gets reported on your taxes, the problem isn't who is creating the work. The problem is going to be who gets exposed buying the work. Your pastors, your teachers, your doctors, your politicians, your CEOs, your executives. You realize, oh, that wasn't just a company party at the bar. That was at the strip club. Oh, that wasn't you taking anybody on a date. That was you getting services after work. Oh, that wasn't you holding a community healing session. So the reason, and literally the first YouTube video I even made was speaking about, like, we as a people have to start really humanizing the fellow people who engage within the sex work industry, so we can truly get to the culprits behind the demonic activity that's behind there, which is not the sexual expression of people who are accepting of themselves. It is the sadistic creeps who feel like this is an industry or an environment or an ecosystem where they, as somebody who is willing to pay for services, is now in a position of power to exploit and dehumanize somebody based on their identity or what they are willing to do. We have to create some kind of foundation in the realm of sex and sexuality that allows us to engage in such experiences without lowering our humanization or ability to humanize the people in that experience. And that is going to help us, especially you guys who aren't like really in like deep with this conversation. That's going to help you guys understand what kind of perspective I'm presenting here. And also, one of the reasons why I speak so much about like sex work too is because I have like a lot of neurodivergent peers and friends. And I also have some who do involve themselves within sex work in the industry. And we, especially as autistic people, we don't, like, our way of well-being and living does not align with the hyper-allistic serving system that is the traditional 9-to-5 schedule, that is the normal everyday life that somehow everybody just wakes up and loves to hate and hates to love at the same time. So I have to continue to validate opportunity outside of the traditional way to let people like myself and people like those in this community know being different or being non-traditional isn't an opportunity to hate yourself even more than you probably already do. It's a chance to figure out what lengths you're willing to go to create a life that allows you to be the fullness of who you are and reciprocates energy in relation to your ability to express that. However that is, and if you can serve value to the outside of yourself to somebody who's willing to compensate that value, continue to do that in the best way you know how, but one way that allows you to never be apart from yourself in order to access that compensation. We live in just in a world full of shame, and it's interesting when it comes to shame and then speaking about sex work, because it's like you force people to make money in this system where you make all of them poor, and then they make money in a way that makes you uncomfortable, and then now you need to shame them out of making money this way because it goes against like your Christian religion or some shit. It goes against your like your book, your God, and it's like, wait a second. Then why don't you give people housing and a healthcare and accommodation and all types of shit? So if it's not something they want to do out of the choice of their own hand, they don't have to. But you don't do that either. You spend all that money creating fucking mega churches and making pastors billionaires. And then I'm sitting here trying to have these conversations to where we can actually accommodate and serve the people who are attempting to serve themselves because nobody else will. And you guys want to say it's against fucking God and shit, bro. And it's well, fucking, nigga, Jesus sat with the prostitutes, nigga. Sorry, bro. Like, y'all are not tapped in, bro. Y'all thump that Bible on your fucking all day, and y'all don't even read the stories of the person that was in there that you be calling perfect, bro. But let me get back to the point I'm trying to say, man. Like, really, if we don't get to a point where we're humanizing the sex workers and the community people that involve themselves on like the actual lower levels of this society, and we aren't holding the managers, the management agencies, and all these people at the top, we aren't holding all of them accountable, and we aren't holding the people that publicly shame sex work in the real world and privately invest themselves in it, if we aren't exposing them either, we're going to get to a world where under the right hand of blonde Jesus, who was born in Africa, we're allowed to dehumanize these people enough to subjugate them to a space in society that is so dehumanized, so invalidated, so almost like excommunicated from the light side of society, but exploited in the dark side of society. It's going to be an absolute fucking madhouse. And then on top of that, not being able to appreciate people who engage healthily in sex work and engage in like the raw, authentic nature of sex, that's going to even further separate us as a collective people who don't engage in that. It's going to separate us from being able to appreciate our own sexuality and our own sexual nature, and force us to be completely codependent on understanding of that through the hyper ignorant, hyper self-rejecting Christian church that is literally buying out our government right now. So OnlyFans was the first step in the direction of, oh my goodness, the creator is starting to see how much wealth they are really creating in this industry, and how much wealth they can genuinely produce, and how much they've been lied to by these pimps and pimping management agencies, and then dehumanized because they aren't even making not even making 1% as to the value that they create, especially in this digital internet age. And the world we live in, especially this one that's like hyper shameful, God hates you, God hates you, God hates you. We're going to have to find a way to serve the Christians by dehumanizing and shaming everybody, while also serving the capitalists by saying, hey, we're going to continue to let this industry run under the table, but like only the masters of the system who dehumanize and destroy and pimp these women, those are the only people that are going to be able to get rich. And then we're going to hope that you people in the middle of society don't fall into this trap that we're running here. And in all of this happening, this giant scheme of pimping happening, none of you guys will ever... I don't know how I was going to end this video, but go watch my YouTube channel. I'm cooler on there.